We got him, both of them. The pilot was pulled out Friday in broad daylight, 7 hours of American aircraft circling over Iran while the whole world watched. The weapons systems officer, a colonel, spent 48 hours hiding in a mountain crevice in southwestern Iran while Revolutionary Guard soldiers and nomadic tribesmen with rifles hunted him for a $60,000 bounty. The CIA ran a deception campaign to throw Iran off his trail. Special forces launched an extraction under heavy fire. 2 C-130s and 2 Black Hawks were destroyed on the ground. And within hours of getting that man home, Trump posted 6 words that should have every investor's full attention right now. Quote, "Tuesday will be power plant day." End quote. The April 6th deadline is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Markets open tomorrow morning. And I am going to tell you exactly how to be positioned before both of those things happen. Let me give you the full rescue story. Because every finance channel is going to skip this and go straight to the oil chart. That is a mistake. The rescue is the oil chart. An F-15 E-Strike Eagle from the 494th Fighter Squadron was shot down over Markazi Province Friday morning. 2 crew on board. The pilot ejected, made radio contact, and was rescued within hours. But the backseater vanished into the Zagros Mountains. For 2 days, this became the most important operation in the U.S. military. The CIA spread false intelligence inside Iran that the airmen had already been extracted by ground, a deception to pull IRGC search teams in the wrong direction. Meanwhile, they used what officials called unique capabilities to locate him in a mountain crevice. Saturday. Special forces went in. Massive firefight at the extraction point. And here's the part the Pentagon is not advertising. An A-10 Warthog was also shot down the same day. That pilot ejected and made it out. 3 American aircraft lost in a single day. This war is more dangerous than anyone in Washington is admitting. Now here is the insight nobody else is making, and this is the entire reason you should share this video before tonight. Every other channel is celebrating the rescue. Good. I am too, but celebration is not analysis. The rescue did not de-escalate. It unlocked escalation. Think about it. While Iran held a potential prisoner of war, Trump could not bomb civilian power plants without risking that airman's life. The POW was Iran's leverage. And now, that leverage is gone. The rescue freed Trump's hand. And he did not wait. Within hours, literally hours, of confirming both men were safe, Trump posted on Truth Social, quote, "Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one. There will be nothing like it," end quote. He is telling you publicly on social media exactly what he plans to do to Iran's civilian infrastructure in 48 hours. Targeting power plants is a potential war crime under the Geneva Conventions. Amnesty International has already called it that. And he is announcing it like a product launch. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, the April 6th deadline expires. What happens? Drop deal if you think diplomacy pulls through. Drop extend if Trump pushes the deadline again. Drop strike if you think Tuesday's real. I want to see where this audience stands. Here's the timeline your money has to navigate. Monday at 9:30 a.m. markets open. You will see the gap. Could be up 2% on deal optimism. Could be down 3 on strike fear. Then you have 10.5 hours of trading while the deadline clock runs. 8 p.m. The April 6th deadline that Trump set on March 26th expires. After that, you either get a deal, another extension, or strikes. If it is a deal, oil drops to 85 and the S&P rips the biggest relief rally of the year. If it is strikes, oil goes to 120 and Iran retaliates on Gulf infrastructure. Permanent capacity destruction. 3 to 5 year repair timelines. Look at this chart. Oil was $83 on March 10th, 100 on March 27th, 111 on April 2nd. That was an 11.4% single-day spike. Brent spot touched 141 overnight Thursday, highest price since 2008, 34% in 3 weeks. And that 34%? That was the warm-up if power plants get hit Tuesday. Since the war began on February 28th. Valero, up 93.8%. Marathon Petroleum, 72.8. ExxonMobil, 49.1. XOP, 44. XLE, 38.5. The S&P, down 7.8. NASDAQ, down 4. Look at those bars. Green on top, red on the bottom. That is the entire story of this war in one slide. While every other sector bled, energy printed. The Strait of Hormuz. Before the war, 138 ships per day transiting. 20% of the world's oil. Right now, fewer than 6. A 95% collapse in shipping traffic. And here is the one new development that changes the calculus. Iran just offered to let, quote, essential goods, unquote, through. First concession since February 28th. It could mean a deal is forming. Or it could mean they are buying time to fortify before Tuesday. The Brent-WTI spread just inverted. American oil is trading $3 above global oil. That has not happened since 2011. What it means is the market is no longer pricing oil on quality. It is pricing oil on certainty of delivery. Oil you can physically touch in Oklahoma is worth more than oil sitting in a tanker that might never make it through Hormuz. That is not a trade. That is a structural repricing of the entire global commodity complex. And it means every U.S. energy producer and every pipeline operator is the safest asset on the planet right now. 3 scenarios for oil. 120, temporary shock. A deal happens within 90 days. Gas stays around 410. Inflation hits 3.8. Recession risk 30%. Manageable. 150, prolonged blockade. Hormuz stays closed 3+ months. Gas hits $5 nationally. Inflation above 5%. Recession risk 45%. That is BlackRock's Larry Fink's recession line. 200, global breakdown. Gulf infrastructure permanently destroyed. Gas above 650. 8% of global energy supply just gone. Automatic recession. But the back channels are busier than at any point in this war. Pakistan's army chief has emerged as the key mediator. Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Turkey gathered in Islamabad. Iran rejected the 15-point peace plan publicly, but privately signaled openness. They offered the essential goods passage on Hormuz. Oman met with Iran about shipping. Egypt's foreign minister called both the U.S. envoy and Iran's FM in the same day. Trump told Fox there's a good chance for a deal by Monday. More diplomatic movement in 72 hours than the entire previous month. Share this video right now. Everyone you know who owns stocks is going to wake up Monday morning to the biggest gap of the year. The ones who watch this will be ready. The ones who did not will be Googling in a panic at 9:31 a.m. Send this now, before tonight. Follow the money. Last week alone, $969 million flowed into XLE. Meanwhile, $2.8 billion flowed out of the Vanguard S&P 500 fund. $929 million left the semiconductor ETF. The AI trade is crashing into the reality that data centers need electricity. Electricity needs fuel, and fuel needs to get through a strait that is 95% shut. Cash and T-bills are surging. Energy is the only equity sector with inflows. Everything else is bleeding. The Fed is trapped. Oil at 111 means CPI is heading to 3.6%. Cutting rates would be pouring gasoline on literal gasoline inflation, but hiking would crush an economy where February jobs were just revised down by 41,000, and consumer confidence is at 70.9, recession territory. So the Fed does nothing. 94.8% probability of a hold at Powell's last meeting as chair. Frozen, and a frozen Fed means the energy trade stays. Your Monday morning playbook. 3 rules. 1. The gap is not the trade. Monday's gap will be dramatic, 2 or 3% in either direction. But the real trade is what happens after 8 p.m. when the deadline resolves. Do not panic sell the gap if you are positioned correctly. 2. Energy wins both directions. Deal means the SPR needs to be refilled. The government becomes a massive buyer and creates a floor under oil for years. Strikes mean permanent supply destruction. The only variable is the magnitude of the energy move, not the direction. 3. On do not sell the fear. In 19 of 20 major military events since 1945, the S&P recovered to pre-conflict levels within 28 days. The people who panic sold those events lost money. The people who held or bought made money, every single time. Rebel dividends. This is the product I've been building for over 2 years. Tax-free weekly dividends through IRS return of capital and Section 1202 QSBS. over 100 consecutive weeks paid. You get Hype Exposure, the token behind Hyperliquid, which is now the number 3 platform in the world by fees, with revenue at an all-time high. When every stock exchange is closed and oil spikes overnight, Hyperliquid is the only liquid venue on the planet. That is not a pitch. That is a fact. MacroEdge.tech. Bottom line, both pilots are home. Trump is unleashed. The deadline is tonight. Tuesday could be the biggest escalation since the war began, or the beginning of the biggest relief rally of the year. Energy is the only trade that wins both outcomes. We are positioned. The question is whether you are. Your number, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, April 6th, 2026. The deadline, tomorrow. The deadline resolves. We cover it live. Pre-market breakdown before the bell. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss it. Send this to one person before tonight. Everyone who owns stocks needs to see this before 8 p.m. The ones who watched will be ready. The ones who did not? They will find out Monday morning why they should have.